What's good people, and welcome back to the channel, Crewboy Productions. My name is BK, and this is the Silly, Nerdy, and Wordy podcast, episode 59, the new Fantastic Four trailer, and the amateur spoiler review. And in this episode, I'm going to be giving my spoiler review thoughts on the amateur film and my thoughts on the Fantastic Four new trailer. What's going on, everybody? I hope everybody's doing very well. Glad to be back. And before I get into the spoiler review, I want to give my thoughts on the new Fantastic Four trailer that has recently dropped. And this is the full trailer, 4 months out from July. This one had more story details. You got the tone in terms of where the story is going. We got to see the characters' powers in action. And the score in this film, in this trailer, is starting to grow on me. I'm starting to like it. I'm liking the build that it builds up to. So that is feeling really good for me. And you see the threat in this as well. And of course, this is the MCU film that is right before Avengers Doomsday. So we'll see how that's going to be connected. And yeah, I really liked the trailer. We got more story details, so we'll see how this goes. Of course, this is coming out July 25th, later this summer. Now let's get into the spoiler review for The Amateur. Again, this is a spoiler review, so if you have not seen the film, now is the time to pause it, go see it, and come back. This is your warning, and now I will get into it. Of course, this film is The Amateur. It's directed by James Hawes, and it stars Rami Malek, Lawrence Fishburne, Rachel Brosnahan. Of course, Rachel is also going to be in Superman later this summer in July. It also stars John Bernthal, and John Bernthal has been in a lot of recent projects. He was in season 1 of Daredevil Born Again, multiple episodes that has just wrapped up last week. And he's also in this movie, The Amateur, and he will be in The Accountant 2 that is coming out on April 25th. So it works out well that all these projects are releasing in this March and April timeframe for him. But that is the main cast of the film. And this story, this film, for me, overall, it was good, not great. In terms of I'll just talk about the story. It is about the main character, Charlie, played by Rami Malek. He is a CIA analyst, and he does his job very well. He's very good at it. And his wife, played by Rachel Brosnahan, goes on a work trip in London. And unfortunately, there was an attack in London, and there are unfortunate victims in that attack. And Charlie's wife is one of the victims. That news gets back to him eventually. And then there is a brief mourning period for him of grief. And then eventually gets to the point where he starts looking into the guys that did this. And then he wants to go and get the guys himself. He wants specific training. Of course, they laugh at him, but he still is very motivated to do it. And ultimately, they give him leeway to do that. And then he tries to go out on his own. But the way they go about it is a different way in terms of the typical going about it for someone that is trained or was formerly trained to go and have, action, hand-to-hand combat or weapons training. But he doesn't have that. He's just a very smart guy. He's an analyst. He's trained in data, analyzing situations in terms of surveillance, and good with his hands in terms of putting things together. And he did get a little bit of training, but he goes about it in a different way. So that's kind of the story, a little bit. In terms of the rhythm of the movie, I felt overall it was very slow pace, slow burn. However, there were times when the pacing did pick up, but overall it was slow. It still got to where it was going, but I just wish the rhythm was a little bit more faster. And then in terms of getting back to the story, one of the things I did like was the locations that the story went. It went from Washington, went to Istanbul, it went to Marseille, Madrid, and Russia. So going to all those different locations within the story, that part I very much did enjoy. The traveling back to the story, they did it from a fresh, unique take in terms of almost a normal guy going about avenging someone that was taken away from them. In a sense of normally, like I said, you have that training, you go about it, in an action-packed way. He goes about it in a much different kind of way, and it was a unique kind of way, and I like how they executed it and went about it in that way. I thought it was a great way to kind of keep it new, keep it fresh, because we always see that this happened to me. He's going to go on this mission because he has all this training and all of that. So, but that was not the case. So I do like the way they went about it from a fresh perspective from the guy that's getting the revenge. And what else? The music and the score of this film, I thought it was okay. It didn't really leave an impression on me per se. It did have some moments here and there, but not something that really added to the film as it does from time to time. What else can I say? The couple of set pieces, the water tank scene, the way that kind of set piece, action piece was executed, that was pretty cool, along with a few explosions. And yeah, this was a solid film, a good film, not a great film for me. It was, like I said, very, very slow burn film, but it got to where it needed to go. The rest of the cast was pretty good. I think there was no like standout performance other than the lead himself. So let me see if there's anything else I want to cover in this review of this film. I would say, yeah, that's pretty much all. And in terms of this film, would I want to purchase the film and see how things were done and rewatch it again in terms of purchasing and adding it? I would say, unfortunately, no. This would not be one of those films that I would do that for. Would I watch it again? I would say 50-50. I'm not rushing back to watch it again or excited to see it on digital. So unfortunately, I would say no. But again, a solid film, had very great moments, just not up there for me. And so with that, that is all I'm going to have for you today. So hopefully you learned a little something, or at least you were entertained, distracted a little bit. So if you could please like the video, subscribe, leave a comment, and of course, follow the podcast wherever you get your podcasts. And until next time, we will talk soon.